The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
The Mike Broomhead Show. News Talk 550 KFYI.
KFYI.com.
The Arizona Electoral College delegates voted today. They voted and cast their votes because of the voters in Arizona. They cast their votes for Mitt Romney. But in this discussion, the Electoral College, as they were talking about this during the voting, the state GOP chairman, Tom Morrissey, is quoted as saying the following: "I'm not satisfied with what I've seen," talking about the president's birth certificate. "I think for somebody in the president's position to not have produced a document that looks more legitimate, I have a problem with that." So is the state GOP chairman a birther? So I asked him to join us. He's been kind enough to do that. He's doing that now. Mr. Morrissey, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Mike. Call me Tom. You know, we know each other
well.
Okay.
Tom, I just help me out here. I mean, you are making national headlines with this right out of the gate. Are you a birther?
No. What is a birther, Mike? I'm going to answer that question with a question. What is a birther?
A birther is someone that does not believe that the president was born here or does not have a legitimate birth certificate and cannot prove that he was born here in the United States.
Well, I'm not. My issue is not whether he was born here or not. My issue is that I'm not convinced. As an elector, I have a sacred trust, right, to protect what is constitutionally viable. Okay, so and in my opinion, what I have seen from the president produced as a birth certificate does not convince me that it is a real document. I'm not saying he wasn't born here. I'm saying that document that I've seen does not convince me that it's a proper document. Now,
but you know, but the thing is that why would that matter if you had a document from Mitt Romney, let's say? Would you question the authenticity of that document? And if you thought there was something kind of not illegitimate, if you questioned the authenticity of a document from Mitt Romney or anybody else, Ron Paul, it doesn't matter, this would not be an issue because it would be an oversight or it would be something else. The only reason why this matters is because people have been questioning whether or not Barack Obama was born here and if he's qualified under the constitutional rules to be president of the United States. And so in that perspective, you can see why your statement is now going to be big national news.
Well, you know, it goes back to what I said. I mean, my statement is based on something that I believe or don't believe. And, you go along, coupled with that is, I mean, this has been an ongoing thing, and I realize that for at least 4 years. And there's been a lot of stonewalling, on the part of President Obama that a lot of money has been spent in courts and to prevent the presentation of what should be a true birth certificate. I mean, I don't see what is so difficult for him to produce that. So when I looked and when I said what I said today, I said it as a concerned American. I'm concerned, but I have a sacred trust as an elector, and I don't want to be soapy about it, but I do have that, and I think I have the right to raise that question. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not whether I believe or don't believe that President Obama was born here. That's not it. I'm just not convinced that what I've seen as the document that he claims is his birth certificate is valid.
Well, then what would be the reason then, based on everything else we know and the arguments that we've had about this president and his the questions that have been raised by some people about this president, what would be the reason he would not produce a valid birth certificate then?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a question I'm asking. Why wouldn't that be produced? Because it's only my opinion, Mike. But it's only my opinion. But that's what I feel, and that's the question that I ask. Why can't he or won't he produce a proper document? So
Okay, so then you believe, I guess there's two questions I have then. Do you believe that the document that's been produced, the one that you've seen or whatever it is that you're making the statement on, you believe that the document produced is fraudulent, or you just have questions? Which is it?
I have questions. I'm looking at it, and it doesn't seem like it's a true document. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Now, you know I've got a law enforcement background. Okay?
Yes.
So I come at this from maybe a little different perspective, but it just doesn't ring right with me.
All right, so then I guess the reason why I'm so concerned about this is because if you were just somebody else that made that statement, then it would just be someone that made that statement. But you are the chairman of the GOP in the state of Arizona, and you make a statement saying that you are questioning the validity of the document. You're not necessarily questioning whether he was born or not. People are going to say that's hedging your bet on the statements. If you don't believe he wasn't born here, say it. I mean, say you don't believe he was born here. You know what I mean? They are going to make this statement sound like you are saying the president's not born here and he hasn't produced a document to prove otherwise. So clarify your statement for me one more time.
First of all, I'm saying it as Tom Morrissey. I'm not saying it representing the Republican Party or the Arizona Republican Party. I said that I had a concern, with it. And all I'm saying to you is that the document that I saw does not ring true to me. That's all I'm saying to you.
Okay, and fair enough. I just know, you know as well as I do where this is going, where the statement will lead other people to, or what it will lead other people to say. And I just wanted some clarification for the record because you've seen the story in the Arizona Republic. It's just a very short piece with your statement taken out of context. I wanted you to have an opportunity to put it in context with what you meant by the statement.
Yeah, and that's it, Mike. And I hope that answers your question.
No, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the document that you're questioning. I just wonder myself if we would be having this conversation if it were anybody else's birth certificate. That was what I wanted to get from you. Would you place the same scrutiny on anyone else's birth certificate? That was my only question.
I absolutely would. As I said to you, I as an elector, I have a sacred trust.
Yep.
All right, and that is what I'm acting on. I mean, if it were Governor Romney's or if it were Ron Paul's, I would have, and it was the same. Let's say we thought of the same thing. I would have the same concerns. It's not because it's President Obama's. I mean, this is not personal. I'm just making a comment on what I've seen. And if that were Romney or Ron Paul, I'd be making the same. I'd have the same concern.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the time. I wanted to give you some time to clarify the statement moving forward, and I look forward. I got to tell you, I look forward to see where the story goes in the next day or so.
I don't, but
I had a feeling that was going to be your response, Tom.
Okay, Mike.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good talking with you.
All right, good talking with you. That is Tom Morrissey joining us for a few moments. And 602-260-KFYI. Comments a little bit. Now, I will give you some opinion based on our conversation, but Tom is a good enough guy to back up a statement he makes. He's not going to run from the things he says, and I'm glad he came on the show to clarify it. I'll be back in a moment.
The Mike Broomhead Show. News Talk 550 KFYI.
KFYI.com.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.